This is how the story begins. In a dark, dark town, there was a dark, dark street. In the dark, dark street, there was a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house, there were dark, dark stairs. Down the dark, dark stairs, there was a dark, dark cellar. And in the dark, dark cellar, some skeletons lived. There was a big skeleton, a little skeleton, and a dog skeleton. Woof!
For millions of us, those words are a direct portal back to childhood. The story of two skeletons and their dog, living in a dark, dark cellar, is a cornerstone of British nostalgia. We remember the charming, slightly spooky adventures. But what if that dark, dark town was more than just a setting? What if this simple, repetitive tale was hiding a much deeper story? Let's explore how a simple children's book from 1980, born from the minds of a remarkable creative team, became a cultural touchstone with a surprisingly clever story hidden in its pages. So, what was the dark, dark secret of Funny Bones? Well, the truth is, it wasn't a secret of horror, but of brilliant design. The book landed in 1980, a time of major change in Britain. The 70s had been turbulent, and the 80s were bringing in a whole new social landscape. Children's books at the time were a mix of wild fantasy and gritty realism. You had authors like Roald Dahl diving into the grotesque, and others creating cozy, nostalgic worlds to escape into.
Sit, Finny, sit. I'm fed up with this goldfish. Me too.
Funny Bones did something else entirely. It took the ultimate symbol of fear, a skeleton, and made it completely, utterly safe. The genius is in its masterful use of repetition. In a dark, dark town, there was a dark, dark street. It builds this gentle, rhythmic tension that never, ever leads to a real scare. The skeletons aren't ghouls. They're a charming, slightly clumsy family. Their big plan for the night is just to frighten somebody. But they're hilariously bad at it.
Look! A ghost! I don't see a ghost.
Their adventure is a series of silly, gentle mishaps. The dog skeleton crashes into a tree and falls to pieces, only to be put back together, incorrectly at first, while the other two sing a little song. The humor is pure slapstick. They go to the zoo to see skeleton animals and play in the park. Everything that could be scary is made familiar and funny. By the end, having failed to frighten anyone, they just scare each other before trooping back to their dark, dark cellar to sleep. The loop is complete, and kids aren't left with fear, but a feeling of cozy satisfaction.
The perfect pet. I wonder what it is. What? Dog!
This unique mix of spooky and safe made the book a classic, but its journey was far from over. The next step would launch these skeletons from the page straight into the cultural memory of a nation. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, think about subscribing for more deep dives into the media we grew up with. For 12 years, Funny Bones lived on the page. But in 1992, that dark, dark town came to life. The book was adapted into an animated series, and for many, this is the version they remember most vividly. The show first aired on S4C in Wales and BBC One in the rest of the UK, with endless repeats that cemented it in the TV schedules for years. But the real magic ingredient, the thing that made the cartoon iconic, was the sound. The show was narrated by comedian Griff Rhys-Jones. His voice became the series. Jones didn't just read the story, he performed it. He gave the skeletons their personalities, from the big skeleton's agreeable catchphrase, "Good idea," to the little skeleton's more practical nature. His warm, friendly tone was the final layer of reassurance, promising that even in the dark, dark night, everything was going to be perfectly all right. He's also widely remembered for singing the theme song, performing as the friendly man in the moon who watches over the town. The show was an instant hit, and its theme tune and catchphrases quickly became part of the 90s playground chatter.
Look! We're home.
So why, all these decades later, do we still remember Funny Bones so fondly? It's more than just nostalgia. The story has lasted because it's a perfectly crafted piece of children's storytelling that works on a few different levels. First, it's a masterclass in turning expectations upside down. It takes a universal childhood fear, the dark and what's hiding in it, and makes it a source of comfort and laughter. The skeletons aren't scary. They're us. They have silly ideas, they look out for each other, and they create a safe space for kids to explore spooky ideas without any real threat. Second, the structure is just incredibly comforting. That repetitive language and predictable story in both the book and the show create a sense of safety. Kids love knowing what's coming, and Funny Bones delivers that without ever being boring. It's the literary equivalent of a warm blanket on a cold night.
Meow!
And finally, that 1992 series crystallized this feeling for a whole generation. Griff Rhys-Jones's narration, that unforgettable theme song, and the 5-minute bursts of gentle fun made it the ultimate comfort watch. It's not remembered for high drama, but for a feeling of cozy, slightly spooky, quintessentially British charm. The teamwork between the Allbergs' brilliant concept, Andre Amstutz's playful illustrations, and the pitch-perfect TV show created something truly special. Funny Bones isn't really dark at all. It's a story about creative partnership and the quiet genius of understanding how a child's mind works. It's the story of Alan Allberg, the former gravedigger who wrote tales of gentle joy, and Janet Allberg, the artist who encouraged him to find his voice. And it's the story of how they, along with a team of animators and a beloved comedian, took one of our oldest fears and turned it into a friend. From a dark cellar in a 1980 picture book to the TV screens of millions in 1992, Funny Bones taught generations of kids that the dark isn't something to be afraid of. Sometimes it's just where the fun begins.